you there. Well, one of those experts on white nationalism is former Homeland Security official Daryl Johnson. He's been warning of the dangers for over a decade, and it's the basis of his book, Hateland. He joins me now. Daryl, you saw this coming. What is fueling the rise in white supremacy and associated domestic terrorism?
So initially, back in 2009, when I issued my report, it was the unprecedented election of the first African-American president. This was kind of like the white supremacist nightmare come true. And then we had a downturn in the economy, which also kind of fueled some of the anti-government groups that we've been seeing. But what's led to this recent resurgence and escalated and continued heightened activity is the heated political campaign of 2016, where we had a lot of demonization of political opponents, some mainstreaming by President Trump of extremist belief systems. I'm talking about ideas like the border wall, banning travel from certain Muslim countries, immigrants coming into the country here. These were all themes that I saw on white supremacist message boards and websites over 10 years ago. Now they're being mainstreamed and endorsed as policy.
And yet President Trump is saying he will now give the FBI whatever they need to tackle it. So what tools do the FBI need?
Well, of course, we need, more undercover long-term investigations into those who are plotting terrorist acts. I think there's a good lesson to be learned in the Countering Violent Extremism program. We actually had the first 3 organizations in 2018 that were given grant funding. However, that funding was pooled for countering violent extremism among white nationalists. So we need to reconstitute that and have an equal distribution of funding and resources for countering violent white nationalism.
But how does the FBI track people who go online to these sites like 8chan and become radicalized incredibly quickly?
Yeah, so here in America, we have a Bill of Rights that gives constitutional protections to people. One of those is the freedom of speech. And so the FBI's hands are kind of tied until they have a criminal predicate or probable cause to investigate. So how they go about monitoring these social media websites is by contracting it out with private companies who don't have those limitations.
Are you also concerned about the possibility of copycat attacks, particularly because these online sites egg people on?
Absolutely, and we've seen that in the manifestos of these 2 recent shooters. We've also seen it with other shooters throughout the world who are white nationalists. They're learning from past white nationalist attacks globally, and they're endorsing those people in their manifestos.
Daryl Johnson, thank you very much for being with us.
You're welcome.